Search for high-functioning anxiety on TikTok and look what happens.
3 signs of high-functioning anxiety. With high-functioning anxiety.
5 things you don't realize you're doing because of your high-functioning anxiety.
More than 10,000 videos with millions of young viewers. But here's the thing. High-functioning anxiety isn't a medical diagnosis. It's a hashtag.
Well, that's sort of true. High-functioning anxiety is not a diagnosis, for sure. But I do think it's more than a hashtag. I do think it's a useful term and concept for helping some people realize that they might have anxiety, which they could do something about. They could treat, they could get help, even if they're high functioning.
Put a finger down if you find it impossible to control your thoughts or stop worrying. Put a finger down if it feels like you're constantly in a state of stress or panic.
So in that case, yes, if you feel you are constantly in a state of stress or panic, that's an anxiety disorder, definitely. And if you find it impossible to control your thoughts or stop worrying, there are things that can help. So labeling this anxiety, super helpful, because you can then look for the solution.
More young people are now self-diagnosing based on this flood of information and interpreting normal daily struggles as a mental illness.
Put a finger down if you constantly seek reassurance. Put a finger down if reassurance only makes you feel better.
Over-interpretation can then become a self-fulfilling prophecy, the third stage of the cycle. If you think you have anxiety, you avoid uncomfortable situations. Ironically, this makes you more anxious in the long term.
So here, yes, avoidance makes anxiety worse. But once somebody diagnoses themselves with anxiety, if they either access help that's reliable online or they meet with a therapist, then they'll begin to realize, oh, that avoidance that I've been doing without even knowing it was anxiety was making me worse. So now I know I can't avoid. So I don't necessarily agree that this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Again, it's like once you take the information in and say, hey, maybe I have this problem, do you go to the correct doctor and get the correct tests done, right? Do you look for a reliable source of help to help you with what might be a problem? So the self-fulfilling prophecy is only if you say, hey, I think I have this anxiety disorder and therefore I'm going to get more anxious about it and not do anything to help it, or use it as an excuse to not do XYZ and avoid. So if you find that a TikTok video or a YouTube short makes you think you might have a particular diagnosis, particularly say anxiety, I encourage you to get help for it, because anxiety, you can overcome anxiety disorders. I have a ton of videos on overcoming anxiety disorders. I will link a handful here and a handful at the end. But if you find that watching these YouTube videos or TikTok videos are making you more and more anxious, then it may not be a great idea. And delving more deeply into a topic by watching a longer video or reading a book or really getting into the topic might be more effective than getting really quick soundbite information, which I don't think really goes to the root of the problems. And just to let you know my qualifications, in case you're new to the channel, I was a psychotherapist for 20 years. I am licensed to diagnose. I specialized in anxiety and trauma, and I now have a YouTube channel that really tries to bring valid, accurate information worldwide with some type of solution attached. So while I'm not going into a ton of solutions today, I'm going to point you to these videos because they give some practical steps you can implement, and I think you can make a lot of progress on your own, but often seeking professional help is needed. Okay? Wishing you all the best and a lowering of your anxiety.